Hey, what's up, chat? How's everybody doing? Welcome to VKH Live. Did you like my custom intro? My music wasn't playing for some reason. I think something needed to refresh. Like I tried doing it on the last stream and it wasn't playing. So I went straight into the podcast audio. So I just didn't even bother to mess with it this time. We're not messing around here. And I figured you could do a cover. I think I'm gonna switch up the music too. So okay, so it was playing over Deja Vu. Oh, you were watching the Deja Vu video I sent you, huh, Asuka? That's funny. Okay, so this second stream is of our Monday doubleheader. I've called it Kimiko's list of underrated bands. So this stream is dedicated and also requested by Kimiko, one of our backers on Patreon. Thank you very much, Kimiko, for supporting us. This is one of the streams that she requested. So we are going to, she has given me a list of 3 different bands. We're going to cover them. This is going to be just going to give a little bit of background on each. I got to research them and get into them a bit. I thought they were all good picks. They were all stuff I'd never heard of personally. So it's good to know our patrons are more cultured than I am. But let's start with okay. By the way, those of you coming over from the last stream, that update that I had to do for my streaming software that delayed everything, it ended up adding in a feature that I didn't realize was missing from the software that I've been using, which is what delayed and kind of like killed my vibe a little bit for on Sunday. So it came a day later than I needed it. God damn it. But anyway, so the first one is, I was gonna pull up their website, but honestly their website's kind of ugly. Let me pull this up real quick. So these first 2 bands are actually interconnected. So this is 44 Magnum. So, and by the way, let me know if you've heard of these bands and if you have, like, what you think of these bands or anything like that. Excuse me. So 44 Magnum, I'm kind of actually surprised I wasn't aware of them now that I've looked them up. They were apparently one of Japan's first heavy metal bands. Like I'm not sure what particular time period this one's from. They look like they've aged a little bit, but let me see. Maybe I can just pull up the search results here. Yeah, so the thing, by the way, that they gave an update for was the image slider that lets me like flip through images. So if you're wondering why I'm in browser right now and yesterday, that's why. Is because I didn't have that. And I was like, I just moved to this. This is supposed to be better. Why doesn't it have this? And they updated it today. And it's like, okay, well, good. I mean, you delayed my stream, but good. So I'll have that all set up for next for the next streams. So yeah, they've had varying looks. Here's a good throwback look, I think, right? Yeah, but they were actually formed. Let me pull up my little cheat sheet on them. So they were formed in 1977. Like, so they've been around a long time. Long time. So they disbanded in 1989, had a 13-year hiatus, and then reunited and put out it was their 7th album at that point in 2002. So listen, y'all, this ex-Japan stuff, like it's not the first, I don't think, or it's not the only. So let's see. I don't think they're Visual K. Like, I just think they're from that era where like the hair metal was that the metal that they were getting was having hair metal influences. As far as I know, they're not Visual K, although the some of the members have been in some, certain Visual K projects that we'll get into. Do I have another cheat sheet on them as well? No. Okay, so basically, I would check these guys out. Their music really does sound like good old school kind of 80s-ish metal with a bit of that Japanese twist of like it wasn't Lunacy. Obviously, this was before Lunacy. It's like that ex-Japan dramatic flair. It's in there for sure, and there's definitely a lot of makeup and stuff like that involved in the PVs, as you can tell from these images. Oh, let me see if I can find it. I mean, they kind of evolved with the times a little bit, I suppose, with this guy here. But, yeah, let me pull this back up. Chat saying the guy with the white hair is on point. Yeah, so solid style. It's not quite my thing, but more because old sounding metal isn't really my thing. I'm very much an alternative metal addict, and that's kind of more the newer sound. But if I was gonna listen to something, I would recommend this band from the tracks I've heard. I thought it was cool, fun little facts. So they had a self-titled album that came out in 2009, and so the vocalist's name is Paul. I forget his first Japanese name, but he goes by Paul Umehara, and for this album, like the majority of the songs, he had his son singing with him on most of the tracks, which I thought was interesting. I mean, like, his son's grown up. Like, it's not like a kid singing. But that was quite... that was a very interesting little fun fact there. But, for being one of their first heavy metal bands, it's pretty put together, too. So, good tunes. Kind of like good tunes. Good driving tunes, I would say. So I would definitely check them out. And there was a reason I did them first, and I'll get into it in a second. But let me check the chat first, see what. Yeah. So it's called, the band's name is spelled, it's 44 Magnum, all one word. Let me see if I can. Do they have an OHP? Oops. They don't. They've been around a very long time. I'm not sure if they have. There it is. I was trying to see if I could find a picture of the logo. Yeah. Forwards 4, backwards 4, Magnum. 44 Magnum. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about 44 Magnum, but I'm going to get into quite a bit of the next artist, which is related to 44 Magnum. So let me pull that up real quick. Because for 44 Magnum, it's pretty straightforward. It's like some nice like oldies 80 metal tunes with a little bit of ex-Japan-esque attitude is going to be the point of reference I'm going to use for our viewers. You know, put it on the road if you're on a road trip with your dad. You know, kind of, or your mom who listens to metal. Whichever parent listens to metal in the family. Okay, let me pull these guys up now. Can I show? I don't know if I can. I would like to show. I'm not sure what the copyright preferences on their videos are, so it's a bigger, more established artist. So I'm just I'm gonna stick with images for now. Let me go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, so how does that look on here? Okay, that looks okay. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to pull up a couple things at once so that I can just do that. Okay, so this next artist is Mad Beavers. And so the relation here is that the drummer, who I believe is the guy on the right here, Kimiko, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The drummer's name is Joe. He's also the drummer for 44 Magnum. So Mad Beavers is a bit newer. It's kind of a side project from what I'm gathering. There's a lot less information about them available online than I guess 44 Magnum. I can see why these are underrated bands because it's kind of hard to find info and like music for them, but it looks like there's just enough on YouTube and maybe Spotify and stuff for some of these guys. But yeah, so he was the drummer for 44 Magnum, and also the drummer for Hide with Spread Beaver. So that's like the, that's the big connection, right? And then also the vocalist and slash guitarist here, Kiyoshi, he was the lead guitarist of Spread Beaver. So the bassist name is Ebby. I was not familiar with the bands that he was in. So they weren't Visual K. So these guys were started in 1998. You can kind of tell as soon as you listen to their music that it's kind of like, you know how Vamps, when they started out, they sounded kind of Aerosmithy. Like they were sounded like they were really influenced by that, like that kind of throwback kind of rock sound with the attitude. These guys are like that, but the real deal, because they're all from like those kinds of bands. And so it's just like some really nice like throwback, like rock, or a little bit of, I guess it's almost like, I guess it's punk rock or something, but it's got like that attitude that I would expect from like almost like a speed metal, not speed metal. I don't know what you would almost like the attitude of like a glam rockers, basically, or glam metal. Like it's like these or thrash metal, like these like strong like power, like these raw riffs with attitude, and then these like fun bass lines, and then the vocalist has got like a high-pitched voice, fairly high-pitched voice and high-pitched vibrato, so it kind of sticks out a little bit. Okay, Asuka posted Spotify in the chat for 44 Magnum, thanks. And it's fun to listen to, and it's like a much more authentic, it is the authentic like oldie sound that other bands that are younger like are like throwing back to, as far as Japan is concerned. Like it started in 1998, so it's not that young by US standards, but this is basically Vamps before Vamps, because it's like it's literally a side project of multiple people from larger bands, which is literally what Vamps is, just like 10 years later. So I've been listening to them. They're still around. They still make music, last I checked, and it's fun. I like it. It's interesting. Definitely underrated. Way less views than what I would have expected. I guess, and also for 44 Magnum as well. So I guess just that whole, like, all of these artists, like, they just didn't get any sort of international attention. It's like, I guess he did with Spread Beaver, like, is old enough that like that's not like a relevant thing to search for on YouTube, or I don't know. So it is, it's Mad Beavers, all one word. Let me pull up their website. Okay. I'll show a little bit of this since it's their tour. It's very Vamps looking, and really it's the other way around. It's like the Vamps when they were starting out was very much inspired, I think, by bands of this kind. So I think if I pop into YouTube, I can find a PV real quick. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, it's pretty punk, pretty fun. Um, very, you know, this is what you've got from this era outside of like the VK bands that you're familiar with, like that may be in this that may have been in this realm at the time, like maybe Kuro Yume or you know, and whatnot. So, do they ever tour outside of Japan? I doubt it. I would have to look it up. I just never. I just really genuinely haven't seen anything from them. You know. Yeah, Kimiko is saying no. So. Yeah. So it's I would definitely look. I think out of the two, I think most of the people watching this are gonna enjoy Mad Beavers the most. It's the more modern sounding one. Of the two, you know, it's still a throwback, but it's more of like a modern throwback sound, and they're still active. So I would, yeah, I would check them both out though if you want to see. Like, I would check out the music videos by 44 Magnum, if you want to see what I guess basically like OG heavy metal in Japan that's not technically Visual K looks like, and you'll kind of see how much it kind of looks like Visual K, because a lot of OG heavy metal in Japan was very hair metal influenced, regardless of whether or not it became Visual K. So Kimiko thinks Mad Beavers would do amazing over here. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think they would do pretty good. Yeah. Recommends Street Rocker PV, which is Street Rock PV, Rocker PV. My recommendation was gonna be what? I think it's this one actually. Yeah, this was the one that I recommended, or that I was gonna recommend, and I don't. Oh God, there's no information. Hold on, let me see if I can find the English name of it. Otherwise, I'll just paste it in the chat, I guess, so you guys can check it out. Yeah, it was really frustrating because I was like, Mad Beavers was the one I was particularly interested in, and it's the one that seemingly every like source of information, like any Wikipedia, any sort of like, you know, source, it was like, it was the one that it just had the red link for. That was just a deleted link. Like, it's like, there's no page for this. It's like, oh, damn it. But, oh shoot, I gotta recopy again. I'll just translate it. I pasted the link to the PV in the chat, but it's translating to Plasma Burn. So, but yeah, I would definitely, I would check them out. They're pretty fun. I'm kind of surprised that they've flown under the radar this much. So that was a good get, Kimiko. And Kimiko's also recommending Street Rock and Roller by 44 Magnum. Oh, okay. So that recommendation earlier was that. Okay. So yeah, definitely check them out and let me know what you think. One last fun fact actually is so the vocalist let's see. So the vocalist here, Kiyoshi, he's in another band called Machine, where he's the lead guitarist. And the vocalist of that project, which I believe is just a 2-person project, is Hakue. Hakue, who is the vocalist of Penicillin. Additionally, he's the second guitarist of a band called Lucy. And the other guitarist of that band named Lucy is Imai Hisashi, who is a guitarist from Bucktick. So in addition to having, he's carried his connections to Visual K like throughout, like beyond just being in Spread Beaver. So he kind of collaborates with the other people that are in the other Visual K, the bigger Visual K bands and stuff. So he's kind of this guy that you've probably just like always passed by when Googling and falling down Visual K rabbit holes and maybe never met, or just maybe never found. So it all intertwines. Yes, Kimiko, I agree. Yeah. And same with Joe too. Like with him being in Spread Beaver and then 44 Magnum, weaving a web. Okay, so the last one I gotta pull up some my info for. I swear to God, this will be so much easier once I get to put that image slider back in. Okay, so the last band is a really dope looking band. I will say. We're back in Visual K land, like solidly back in Visual K now. So this band is called Sengoku Jidai, The Age of Civil Wars. I see them referred to as just The Age of Civil Wars by a lot of English speakers. So, but the full name is Sengoku Jidai, The Age of Civil Wars, spelled out that way, like how it is in the logo. So this band is full of a lot of people that you may find familiar. Junji's orange hair may be sticking out to you right now. He's the drummer for Acid Black Cherry and Bullseychen 88 or Bullseychen 88, and Siam Shade was where he got his start, or his claim to fame. The bassist, let's see, the bassist Date is over here on the left. He has been in a myriad of other bands. I'm seeing Oblivion Dust. He's been a support bassist for Gact, I believe. He is. Oh wait, no. This is his name is Date, but is this who I think it is? Okay, well, he's been support for Gact and also for Vamps. And while he was support for Vamps, I believe he went by Juken. Let me double check that. Unless he was subbing in for Juken, who is somebody else. Okay, so it's Juken. Jesus, why does he change his name like that? Okay. I know. Okay, all right. Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah, I like freaked out for a second there. So then this guy's a big deal. So is he just going by Date for this band then? Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I came up short there with the research. I saw that at the last second. I was like, in my notes it said Juken. I was like, wait a minute. I know that. So yeah. So that's his name's Date for the band, but for our purposes, you will probably know him best as Juken, who is he's just got the whole history of being the session bassist. For a lot of major artists, like I said, he was a support member of Gact. He's other artists like Anna Suchia and also Vamps, like I mentioned earlier. He's highly in demand. Let me look up and see if he was, let's see. If I remember correctly, okay, yeah. So when he was supporting Gact, he was actually he was supporting Gact back in 2007, and so he was a support member when they were. He was a support member for Gact while Gact, during that small period of time when Skin formed. If you'll remember, Skin was the Visual Kei supergroup. That was Yoshiki, Gact, Sugiso, and Miyavi. So the one concert that they did, or the one debut concert, I think that's the only concert Skin ever did, which was a debut concert in Long Beach Arena. Which is funny because that's in... it's in Long Beach, California. But basically, when Skin debuted, Juken was the bassist, the support bassist. Is what I was trying to get. To. Yeah, Junji and Juken go back to Gact days. Yeah, if I start getting into Junji, I could probably look it up. So the point is, these are very, very established musicians, and they just kind of went off and formed like what feels like, when I listen to their music, it's just like an individual K band, but like the songs are really well performed and written. And so like I'm listening to it like, why does this sound so familiar but like so solid as well? So let me finish with the other two artists though. So the guitarist is KZ or Kuz, and he is the blonde guy here with the makeup. And I've got his list of past activities. He was also in Siam Shade with Junji, it looks like. Oh, and Junji's going by another name too. He's going by SND. All right, now I got to check these and make sure. Okay, all right. See, now it's like, oh, God only knows. Are they? Is it all really famous people under different pseudonyms? Anyway, the vocalist is the guy in the middle, in the white. He's the one that looks like a vocalist. He was in... I'm not sure I recognize any of these bands. Bacteria, if anyone's familiar with Bacteria. Well, he does. He looks like a vocalist. He's the most presentable of all of them because he's the one you have to keep your eyes on the longest. Yeah, so I guess... okay, all right. Yeah, I think he's kind of not really... It's a bunch of... I'll just read them out in case you know. It's Bacteria, Jurassic, Drowning, Everlast, Boshoku Gakudan, Megamori XX, and 614. 6 spelled with 2 X's. So yeah, he was known as Yuki in the past. If that means anything to anyone, but I was just gonna show off like they have this nice little live PV and stuff, and their music is it's very I wouldn't say it's like wildly experimental or anything like that, but it's definitely quite it leans a little bit towards the more symphonic side, but it keeps like a strong anime chorus kind of thing going. I'd call it J-Rock, but these guys are actual J-Rock pros, like, you know, a lot of the musicians. So this band only formed back in like 2017. They're barely over a year old. They formed November 1st, 2017. So I think it's going to be really cool to watch them evolve, because there's just a lot of talent and skill going on here. The songs are good. I don't know what like they're really well played, really well composed. The looks are really well executed. Lauren says they have a cool concept too. Yeah, I was reading a description that it's like the actual concept is like it's something to the effect of a guitarist who like finds a magical sword that gives him like in an antique shop that gives him the ability to play all forms of instruments, and it inspires him to form the band, and this is the band. So, which is kind of funny, but yeah, so it's a cool look, it's a cool you know, it's a solid sound. I'm curious to see how crazy they're gonna, or like how experimental they're gonna get with, like, you know, this sound, because they've got like the license to do like fantasy rock, fantasy metal, that kind of a thing if they want to. And so it's or if they're gonna like stay more along the lines of like something like Acid Black Cherry, where it's like they just crank out, you know, they can just crank out these hits of their own, and then they kind of go off and do their own personalized thing, and then their personalized thing is the more symphonic kind of fantasy kind of thing, or fantasy or medieval, however you want to put it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking them out. I would subscribe to them, actually, just so you can keep an eye on them. This came out recently. This came out last month. So actually, if I go to check, we can check their OHP, because I'm actually not I know when they announced they also like they announced themselves when they announced like the existence of their band. They had an album that they had announced to be released. So I got to see what other stuff has come out since then. Yeah, so I'll just pull this up real quick. Oh God, it's all in Japanese. Oh no, it's all in Japanese. Yeah, so this one is called. This is what they debuted with. And so that was called Yujin First Battle. The Romanji is Uijin, so Yujin. I don't know. First Battle. So bad. And then they've had 3 singles since then. So they like their, they're kind of going for the actual anime K kind of thing too with their album covers and stuff. So that's always kind of cool to see, I don't think there's anything wrong with like embracing that as a Visual K band, quite frankly. That's the easiest way for me to describe Visual K to someone who's completely uninitiated. So, I say go for it if it works for you. It's pretty dope look too for some of these. So yeah, that is Sengoku Jidai, Age of Civil Wars. Let me see. Let me recheck. Sounds nightmare-esque, or should I say lunacy-esque? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but then it's just like played really well. Yeah. So yeah, that's and that's all from Kimiko's list of underrated VK adjacent bands, I guess is how you would put that. I'm like trying to think. Those first two, it's very adjacent and in and out and interwoven. So, but yeah, I definitely agree that those are definitely underrated bands. I feel like I should have known about 44 Magnum, quite frankly. I was kind of like, oh, well, if I know about Loudness, how come I didn't know about 44 Magnum? So, but yeah, I would definitely, I guess the most relevant one for a lot of people watching this would be this last one, the Sengoku Jidai. I just think it's a cool concept visually, and the music's pretty solid so far. I'm curious as to what the album sounds like. I may go check that out somewhere, but I would also say check out Mad Beavers as well. Mad Beavers was some really nice throwback sounding J-rock. And then if you wanna see like just how Visual K, even the non-Visual K like heavy metal looked like starting out, before Visual K was officially a thing, I would check out 44 Magnum's PVs at the very least. So yeah. Kimiko says, please send love to them all. So yeah, there you go. We should do these underrated lists more often, says Lauren. I'm going to try and do something like that with Shiro, but you can if you can sign up for the Patreon and request it. But I'm also going to be retooling the Patreon so that stream requests are going to be at more available than just at the one tier, and then upgrading that tier where it's at currently as well. So like I said, keep an eye out for that. I may announce it tomorrow if I am able to fully move everything over, but I'm adding a bunch of stuff that's basically going to equate to everyone getting more bang for their buck when they're supporting VKH Press. You already were getting stuff, obviously. I don't, like, we don't e-beg here. I don't give you stuff. We don't want to give you guys stuff for free, even though you're, when you support us, even though it's Patreon. But I finally got like a really solid list of stuff that I'm like super like, yes, this is what I would want to put out and really give away and everything like that. So if you are a patron, like keep an eye out for that. You'll probably see a post about it soon. Otherwise, I'll keep you guys posted. So. But as far as the underrated list more often, I'm gonna have Shiro on at some point when our schedules sync up, and she's gonna bring up all of these bands. They're gonna be small baby Visual K bands basically that are like highly underrated that she's like kind of curated. She's kind of the expert on that. So some of you guys watching that might really appreciate that. Outside of that, happy to start like a survey or something like that in the future as well. So I'll have to see if I can find a survey thing where people can just put in a band name. Yeah, so with all that, see, I didn't make you guys, I kept you guys till 11:20, didn't keep you guys till 12. At least there's that. So thanks for those of you that stuck around the whole time. And extra special thanks again to Kimiko for supporting us. And let's all get some good night's sleep. And we're gonna have another double header tomorrow where we're doing the last two, and I'll be caught up on these for Patreon. And I don't feel much better about myself. I'll feel more like I'm doing it right, and like I'm making progress. And yeah, so keep an eye out for those, and keep an eye as always on VKH Press. So yep, Oblivion Dust and Christ Plus. That's what's coming tomorrow. See you guys. Peace.